Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Check That Post Podcast. I'm your host, Jen, and these are my beautiful co-hosts,
Queen and Christina.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of
Check That Post Podcast.
Tonight's topic we'll be talking about when should you talk to your kids about sex and dating. Let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, deep.
Yes.
Early age.
Yes.
Definitely.
So, Queen, I know your children, like mine, are grown. So, I think we're going to start off with Christina. Let her get into the topic of conversation of talking to her children about sex and dating.
Okay, so I think that the earlier the better. Of course, you have to minimize what you do elaborate on as far as their age goes. It has to be age appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, at certain ages, you would elaborate even further on each dynamic on whichever you're speaking. Me, myself, personally, I've always, from the time that they've been able to understand, just kind of let them know, like, the no-no spots, like, make sure don't nobody touch this, if somebody touched it, you tell them no, and let me know who it is, whatever. If anybody's talking to you about, asking you about certain stuff, let mom know, and I'll get with that person appropriately. And luckily for me, nothing like that has ever happened to my knowledge. Neither of my children are active or have ever been. Hopefully those are 100% facts. But I do like to keep an open communication with my children, letting them know that, whenever they do get to the age where they feel like, they are ready, just having that communication, just letting me know so we can take the proper steps to prevent whatever.
Yes.
I just think that it's important, when you do have that mother-daughter or mother-son relationship, just to keep that open communication, because you want your kids to feel comfortable enough to come to you and talk to you about certain things. That way you can inform them if you have not already. But even us as adults, we need reminders. So,
Right.
Just reminding them that, hey, like, these are STDs and this is how you get them, not just badgering them, trying to scare them, but
Right.
just letting them know that, because some of us have, went through things that we could have prevented, had somebody been, pestering us and, just reminding us about some of the things that, we went through as adolescents. So,
Yes.
I just feel like just having that open communication and making sure your children know, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate.
Okay.
And that's when it comes to children, adults, family members, no matter who it may be, just knowing the do's and the don'ts.
Yes, indeed. And that's a real good one. even with family members, because our natural instinct is to trust family members and leave your kids with family members because it's your family.
Right.
So you're not geared to set up a defense toward your family because they're your family.
Right.
But come to find out, a lot of our family be the very ones that are inappropriately touching our children.
Yeah.
So that's something that you have to have that hard conversation with both boys and girls.
Right.
You can't just say just had a conversation with the girl, because nowadays you definitely got to have a conversation with the boy as well. I would say sit down when they're age appropriate, of course, with both of them, and give it to them straight. Don't sugarcoat, because when you sugarcoat, you leave room for error, or you leave room for them to be unaware. So, like I had the hard conversation with my children. I got 3, and when they was of age, I sat them down and I told them what was what, because I had a situation growing up where, when you know, you know. And when you don't know, you don't know. And someone touched me inappropriately, and this was somebody that I trusted. This was somebody that my mother trusted. And so I made darn sure well that wasn't going to happen to mine.
Absolutely.
They wasn't going to go in blindsided. They was going to know what was what. So I don't care if somebody threaten you or threaten your child and say, well, if you tell I'm going to do such and such to your parents, I would say let them take that chance. But it's kind of hard to say that, because if they take that chance and they do something to the parents, then you're in a catch-22 situation. But you have to use your own judgment. But if you make them aware, then they won't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
You instill those values in your children, that what's right and what's wrong. They'll know for themselves.
Right.
But, when you don't know, you're scared and you don't speak up, then they get away with it.
Right.
We don't want them to get away with it. So just sit down with your children and have those conversations, because I'm going to tell you something. And I'm speaking from experience. If the parent don't teach the child, the street is going to teach the child. And you would rather the parent teach them versus the street. Because when the street teach them, it's not a good lesson. It's a hard, cold world. And they will be hurt. And that will carry over into adulthood, speaking from experience. And that's traumatizing. And they have to... if you carry something like that over into your adulthood, it's going to show up. And don't be like me. I buried it in the back of my mind. It's like, there was nothing I could do about it. I just had to get through and get over it, because we didn't talk about therapy in my family. So that's something I had to deal with. And it showed up in my dating. It showed up in my marriage. It showed up in my life, period. And I'm going to tell you what helped me get through it and get over it is when I wrote my book. And it took me 4 years just writing my emotions and just what I was feeling, what I was thinking. And it would just come out of the blue. But that, just writing it, as I wrote it, I released it. And it, in a way, it healed me. That was my therapy, because I didn't know nothing about going to talk to somebody and tell them all your business. Because when we grew up, what happens in the house stays in the house. That was our so-called family secret until it wasn't. But I got through it. It's not nothing I'm dealing with. I can talk about it now, like it happened. And I moved on from it. But before then, I didn't understand why I was so angry and so hurt and so disillusioned. So now you can understand. Now when I talk about being in love and you got to try and try again, the fact that I can still love at my age and after going through what I went through, that ought to tell you something. That's something that I believe in strongly. And to you, it might seem a little bit naive. Then okay, I take it, because if you ain't got love, what you got? What is God Himself is love. So that's something that I'm proud of, the fact that I was able to get past that and still be able to have a normal relationship.
Right.
Well, he might not think it's normal because I'm kind of crazy. I like to do a lot of crazy things, but it's all in our best interest.
In a good way.
Yeah, crazy in a good way. Now, I can go there if I need to.
Suspicious? You don't
But
find that
we're gonna keep
suspicious?
that, back there. We ain't gonna bring that up. But believe you me, that other side. And I don't have two personalities, I don't think. But I do have a side. We all got a dark side, and we don't want to go there. And it takes a lot to bring that dark side out. So don't take it there. If you don't go there, I won't go there. Nah, I'm just messing.
No, for real.
But yeah, for real. But what I'm saying is, talk to your children, make them aware of what's what in this world, because especially the stuff that's coming out now. Like, just make them aware. Be cautious when you going on dates. Even if you're not going on dates, you going out to a club somewhere by yourself and you having a drink, and you get on the dance floor and leave your drink sitting there.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. That's too easy for somebody to drop something in there and sit back and watch your reaction, so they can, of course, help you and help you to their place or outside in the car away from other eyes, so they can have their way with you. So just be aware and have them hard conversations. Don't be embarrassed about it. It's a necessary thing to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to add to that, everybody brings up their children differently, and so if you being inappropriately in front of the children, that's a lot of that goes on. And a lot of times the children, what they see that their parents do, then they're going to practice it, So we want to be mindful of that the kids is going to do what they see you do, and they will try it on other children. So you want to make sure you're off in your room with your doors locked. Have your doors unlocked for the kids to be up there walking in and see what you're doing, because that's not any of their business. You don't want to be teaching them things too early of an age, because children ask questions. They do, and they want to know what certain parts of that's on the body is. And so sometimes when they're younger, we come up with different little names that we call it, but we have to go back and correct those names. For instance, you could if you're talking to your daughters, you might tell her something like, well, don't let nobody open and then playing in your pocketbook, just find a cute little name, that you can ask her about, if she's having some problems, and you be like, oh, have anybody touched you? Have anybody, been trying to get in your pocketbook, or whatever name you want to give it. You have to ask questions, because a lot of times the children are not going to come. They either sometimes become frightened. Not that they're scared of you, they just a lot of times are scared of maybe what the reaction is going to be. Like Sis was talking earlier about, thinking that somebody might do something, to the parents, But it's our job as parents to make sure that our children knows, okay? Well, like you say, it could be a catch-22, but we want them to know that it's okay to come to the parents and and say whatever has happened, because nobody should be able to take advantage of you, and then you have to walk around feeling guilty and feeling like you done something,
Yes.
you know. And so we don't want our kids feeling that way.
Right.
And we definitely want to make sure that our kids know that they are protected, you know, and allow your children to flow free with their communication with you. You know, don't hide nothing. And, you know, we have to make sure that they're around the right people, you know, because sometimes their friends may be a little bit more grown up than them, and they may be sharing some things. And so you want to talk about your conversations with their friends. What are y'all talking about?
Right.
You know, what kind of conversations are y'all having? Is there? And here's another thing that's great too. If you don't feel like your children are talking to you straight up, get your friend involved. You got a good friend that knows how to talk to them, and they'll get that information, and they'll be able to tell them some information that the kids will feel free to want to be able to talk to them.
Right.
So, yes, it's always good to have that conversation of when not to have it or when to have it. Well, our parents are not going to say, I wish that you be celibate until you get married. They're not going to say that, you know. But there are a group of people that will tell you that it's best to be celibate until you get married, because you don't want to be trying every Dick, Tom, and Harry.
Right.
You know, you just don't want to be doing that, and then you got all these memories of this person, that person, and so you worn yourself, you know, out because you're trying to try so many different people, you know, and so since it starts as little as 8 years old, you know, somebody is they are touching the children, so we can't live in this world like, oh, that ain't happening to my children.
Right.
You know, we can only pray and ask God to be a protector over our children, you know, and continue to pray and continue to be active in their lives so that we can know what they're doing. And so with me, with my children, because I had the 4 girls, and I do have a son, but I had the four girls, and so I became a single parent. And so my whole goal was to get them through high school without any babies, get them through high school without any sex, you know. And so I had to do the extras, putting them into sports. So that meant they didn't have time after school. They had a whole bunch of stuff to do, from track to basketball. And then when they got done with that, they were helping me work sometimes. And so by the time they got through with a lot of, and we were in church a lot. So by the time the day was over with, they barely had time enough to finish up homework and ready to go, you know, to school the next day. So you have to take that necessary step to make sure that if you feel they life up with things, not that I didn't let them go places, it's just that I just shut doors so that I didn't have extra children coming into the home that I couldn't afford to raise them on the salary that I had. So, and I thank God that I was able to do that, you know, and yeah, it was successful. Yes, thank God for that, because that was the talk. People were saying, oh, she's single now. She got all them girls. She gonna have a house full of babies. That's one of the things that drove me to make them wrong. But my children had goals too. And so that made it even more great, because they had goals and they didn't want to have children. I had my children at a young age, and so they kind of like grew up with me, and I shared things with me, even because I got married real young, and so I shared things with them. Like there was things that a lot of things that I wanted to do that I didn't get to do, and I shared with them. You have that time to do that, so focus, you know, on the things that would keep you busy, and then you go to college and do the things you need to do, then you start, worried about making a family. So.
Yes, indeed. Also, you want to prepare yourself when you get ready to have that conversation. Get clear on your values before starting the conversation.
Yeah.
The key messages that you want to communicate, and what are your views on sex, relationship, and responsibilities. You got to know that when you're having those conversations.
Right.
First of all, you want to lead by example, but nobody's perfect.
Right.
So we're not sitting up here saying that we was perfect. We all fall short.
Yeah.
But know that your children are watching you.
They are.
So every time you bring a new man in the door, they're paying attention to that.
That's right.
And we teach our children, whether we realize it or not, by our actions. They ain't studying about what you're saying. They watching what you do.
Exactly.
So think about that.
Yeah, and that was one that was key for me. Like, no, I didn't do that. Where I had somebody coming in, living with me, and doing this and doing that.
Right.
And because one of the reasons I had a son, and so I needed my son to look at life differently, because I didn't want him going out there, and getting somebody else pregnant or having, intercourse with somebody else's child, so I had to do those talks with him as well.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to ease into the conversation, make it a safe space for them.
Yeah. Yes.
We always say, well, you can tell me anything. They ain't going to do that.
No, they're
9
not.
times out of 10, they might go to auntie, because auntie going to keep it real. She ain't going to lie.
Get you a mole.
Yeah, you got to get somebody that can go in there and ask them questions, talk to them a little bit, just see where they at, what they thinking about it, how they feel about it, and then get back to you.
I ain't gonna lie, my mom used to do a lot for
I know you did.
But you had a great relationship.
Right,
though.
yeah. It definitely helped.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
She know one thing about it. I'm gonna ask them questions. What you doing, girl? You better not lie to me. But not only do you want to create a safe space, you also want to lead with openness and empathy. Because emotions, when they raging through a teenager's body, they don't understand. They confused. They acting down. They talking back. The grades might even drop, because they don't understand what's going on with them.
Yeah.
Explain it to them.
Right.
Like, that's nothing to sit down and say, look, baby, let me tell you, this is what's going to happen 9 times 10. You're going to feel this way. You're going to feel that way. So I'm going to tell you how to handle that a little bit.
Yeah.
Or if she's yelling back, or you say something, a simple little thing, clean up your room. Why I got to clean up my room? The attitude, you get out of attitude. Okay, hold up. 'Cause I said so. No.
My mom said, like, all in your face.
Do it 'cause I said so. You want to keep me sleeping in that room?
Like, what?
Nah, just if your child is acting out outside the norm, and you try to figure out where that come from. I was just talking to you, and you just snapped on me. Snap back, no, don't do that. What I'm saying is, just try to find out, dig a little deep and find out what's going on with them, what's on their mind.
Yeah.
Because you never know. Somebody might have said something. They might have pimples, and somebody said something about their pimple at school, and got them feeling all self-conscious about themselves.
Right.
Explain to them why they're getting the pimples.
Yes.
And the person that's talking about the pimples, they went through it or going through it themselves.
Or
So
going to go through it.
they ain't special.
Right.
And then just give them a little tip on what to eat and not to touch your face. You know what to do.
Right.
Because we all went through that,
Right.
women and men. So just think about how you felt when you was a teenager.
Right.
Have a little sympathy for them.
Yeah.
Because now it's harder than it was then. Because like Sis said, we stayed busy. We was either in church or at school.
Yeah.
Nowadays, and when we was growing up, me and her, we didn't have TV as a distraction.
You did.
We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have internet, period.
Right.
We listened to radio, and we could only listen to gospel music. I love to read, especially romance. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wasn't even allowed to read romance. I stayed in that library. I sneaky did it. But they was trash books to our parents, so we was not allowed to do that.
Right.
I guess there was a way of controlling to make sure we don't get an imagination where we want to do something. I don't know, because I didn't see nothing wrong with it, but,
Right.
you know.
I mean, we turned out good, you know. We
Yeah.
didn't have no babies, you know, before,
Yep.
you know, we were supposed to.
Right.
You know, so, yeah, I think we did good.
So you want to talk about the importance of respect. Teach them how to respect themselves.
Yes.
I'm going to say it again. Teach them how to respect themselves. Because if a child respect herself, she ain't going to fall for anything and everything. She ain't going to let nobody treat her any kind of way. And I ain't talking about, you know, somebody wilding out because they felt disrespected. I'm talking about as far as for their body, respect for the body, what to put in it and put on it too.
Right.
Teach them how a man's supposed to treat them. And we're going to have this conversation. It might be the next episode. Teach them that. And I know y'all men going to probably come for me, but I don't care. I said what I said. The men are not the prize. Okay? The women are the prize. And I know men think they the prize. I ain't saying y'all ain't good, none of all that. But you're not the prize, okay? I said what I said. So, and the reason I say that is because nowadays in 2024, the men want the pedicures. The men, and I ain't saying nothing wrong with you getting it, but don't tell a woman that you want her to get your pedicure and your manicure and your massage and lotion all down and massage down. You know, want her to cater to you. It ain't about you only. It's about her as well. She's the prize. So what's wrong with you doing that for her? Or y'all doing it for each other?
Right.
Don't sit up here and make a woman feel bad, or girl, teenager, whoever you dating, feel bad because she's a female and think she's supposed to cater to you. That's not how it works.
Right. No.
Because the Bible say, and yeah, we Bible belt people, whatever y'all want to call us. The Bible say, he that finds a wife finds what? A good thing. Okay. So she's the prize. He finding a good thing when he get her. So don't flip this thing around and think you're the prize. You're supposed to be the one that take care of the woman.
Right.
Okay. And we know, okay, 2024, y'all don't think like that, and it's got to be 50-50, or this or this or this. Okay. I'm just telling you the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
So don't come for me.
Right.
I said what I said, and I stand on it. Okay.
And we stand on it. Right. How you start being the hunter and then the prize too.
Yeah.
You know, no.
But then you want to holler, I'm the man, I'm the man.
What the hell?
But we
Be the
grateful
man.
for y'all though.
Be the man to take care of that woman.
Right.
And she's gonna, and whatever she do, whatever you doing for her, she's gonna give back to you tenfold.
Right. Right.
So it ain't like you just doing it for her and she taking it and run with it.
Right.
Not if she a real woman. And you know what? On top of that, a real man ain't gonna have no problem taking care of his business. Okay? He ain't gonna have no problem doing it. He ain't gonna complain about it. He gonna be happy to do it. So you got to look in your closet and say, am I a real man? Well, if you're a real man, you wouldn't be questioning that.
Right.
You'd be agreeing. Yes, she right. Just saying. So that's what that respect. If you want that respect from that woman, or guys, you want that respect from your girl, your lady, or whatever.
Yeah.
Then earn it. Earn it. Simple as that.
But you know, sis, a lot of times the mother is the one that usually sits down and talks to the children about sex. It is really good when the man and the woman sit down and talk, and everybody do. Maybe sometimes you can find space where you all can do just a group setting, but it is really good if both of you get your material and sit down and explain some things with them to them, you know, because the kids needs to know that as their bodies changing, different things are going to be happening to them, and they need to know how to love their body. You know, be excited, you know, about the different changes that are taking place, because believe it or not, there are some children that grow up and they hate their bodies. You know, I was one of them, you know, and so it took me a long time to really just say, okay, well, you don't get but one body, so you might as well love the one you got. But because we didn't get those kind of talks, you know, and so a lot of the things that I didn't get with my parents, I tried to make sure that my children, you know, got information on those things, you know, especially about loving their bodies, you know, taking care of their bodies, you know, because a lot of times if you talk to the kids about sex, you got to talk to them about the hygiene. Because if you don't talk to them about the hygiene, you're gonna be having fumes that they don't understand, that, you know, that they're smelling on themselves and there's other people are smelling. So you definitely want to make sure you talk about that hygiene, you know, with them with that. And so when people say it takes a village to raise a child, it really does. You know, and so if you around a group of people, you know, share with them like what's going on, you know, where your child at in certain areas, and that way they might be able to drop a line here and there, or do something like if the family is coming over doing a gathering, you can do fun things that lead up to certain like you playing a game or something that, you know, that'll be simplified for the children to be able to get to understand who they are, number one, and what their body is for, you know, everything with it, you know, they not just born here, you know, they got a purpose for being here, and, you know, and they need to know all of that, you know.
Indeed, and you hit on a big one right there about the cleanliness of their bodies, how to take care of their bodies. 'Cause a lot of young ladies don't know. Their parents wasn't there to teach them or didn't teach them. And they just going along like everything is okay. And my goodness, they walk past you or you go in the bathroom behind them and it's like, God.
Like, where the lights off, you know.
So teach them, if you got a daughter especially, and it's that time of the month for her, teach her how to take care of herself, how to keep herself clean. Because if you're not telling her, when she go to school and walk out of the bathroom, trust me, they are talking about her. If she's not keeping herself clean, you don't want her to go through something like that. Just teach her.
How to do it.
Show her. Because believe it or not, they don't come here knowing. None of us do. And if don't nobody teach us, and it ain't the teacher's responsibility, it's your responsibility. It's your child. So you be the one to teach her and show her how to take care of herself. And how to put on deodorant correctly, because there's a correct way to do it. How to wipe herself when she uses the bathroom, there's a correct way to do it.
That we think is common sense.
It's not.
We have
Sense
to
ain't
teach
coming.
them.
That's right.
We have to show them.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And also how to dispose, how to have bags in you know in the bathroom where they can dispose of properly, because it's more than just her. using the bathroom there. So and if you got males in the house, you definitely want to make sure that you got those bags there that you could dispose of things properly. And that way it holds the scent in. Like go get you some dog poop bag. They scented. Different colors. Get you some of them. Those help out a lot as well.
Because everybody in the house don't have to know that you on your site.
Exactly.
Everybody on the job don't have to know. And I know some of y'all done went to work and went in behind somebody and seen some stuff that turns your stomach.
Right.
Like, that is ridiculous. So if you're seeing it at work, you know what the house look like.
Right.
And it's just, at this day and age and time, we shouldn't even be having this conversation. That should be automatic.
Should be.
But it's not.
It's not.
So teach your children.
Right.
Just teach them.
Teach them.
That's part of your responsibility.
Absolutely.
Now we're going to get into when it come down to them having a relationship, or what age is a good age for the girls to start dating, you think? What would be appropriate?
Well, for me, I think really by the time they're 18. That's what, and here's the reason. If your child is still in school and they're trying to get their education, and if they don't need no distractions.
Right.
But now I say 18, but if you're a mature 16-year-old and that's not what's on your mind, and it's not gonna distract you in your schooling, then okay. But I say 18 because you're pretty much finishing up your high school time, because you need to get where we live at in South Carolina. We are not just at the top here with the educational thing. We done dropped some points way down, now. So and we have to work on that in South Carolina for as getting our education, and so, but if you're mature, you're not gonna be distracted. Okay, 16. But if it's you're gonna be distracted, then you need to hold off of it, because the number one thing is get your education.
Right.
Now, I've always said, give me the 18 years, and bring me that diploma. If you go to college, that's good too. You becoming more into adulthood. But I used to tell mine, as long as I had to sign on the dotted line, you still had to do what I say do.
Yeah, I know now in this day and age, of course, all mine are grown, but at this day and age, people are dating, or teenagers are dating at 12, 13, 14, 15. To each his own. But exactly, they don't even know what feelings they don't understand the feelings that they're feeling.
Right.
So why would you be okay with that?
Right.
You do what you want with yours, but I'm just saying. You got to think about it. What was your headspace?
Right.
And especially with all the distractions we got going on, that's bad enough. And then they in school, like she says, trying to study and get a good grade. Like, that's enough to deal with. Peer pressure, all that.
Yeah.
And trying to stay on the right path without going over here and going over there. And then on top of all that, all the STDs out here.
Exactly.
Why would you throw that in the mix?
Right.
Why? Set a boundary, or set or just sit down and have that conversation and let them know what you would like. I don't want you to get serious or start dating until, like she said, 16. Your grades need to be on par.
Right.
At least. And I know some of them going to be rebellious and do what they do. And that's for you to handle.
Right.
But just let them know what you expect. Or what you would like to see. And some kids, they don't want to disappoint their parents, so they're going to adhere to it. Some won't.
Yeah.
But they need to see what it is that you're doing. And if you instilling in them morals and the right way to do things, they'll listen to you.
Yeah.
But you got to trust them as well.
Right.
Like, you can't be so hard on them and so down on them and accusing them, and give them that space to be trustworthy. Now, if they break your trust, then you got to do what you got to do from there. But don't be so hard on them that you got them sneaking out the window or somebody sneaking in the window while you in there sleep. Like, we don't want that.
Right.
Just have the conversation.
Right.
Tell them what you expect, and go from there.
Right.
It don't have to be hard. We make things so complicated. It don't even have to be that complicated.
Yeah.
But if they can trust you and they can have these conversations with you and y'all got a good dialogue, then everything will be peachy. If they got to sneak around behind your back, baby, look out.
Look out.
I would just say, just give them the opportunity to express their side. Because a lot of children, I know growing up, just hearing like what you were saying earlier, like, because I said so, instead of just giving that type of answer, just kind of like breaking it down, like, look, you're at this age, these types of things can happen. I don't want these things to happen, when you're out of my sight or out of my space. All these things can happen, and to prevent these things from happening, this is what we're gonna do. When you become this age, we can take a step further, or I'll take a step back, and you'll be allowed to do this. And then when you become this age, you'll be allowed to do that. Kind of like baby step it, instead of just being like, oh no, you're not dating until you turn 18 because I said so, and that's it, and that's all. Because that's what's gonna kind of make them rebel as well. They're gonna be like, well, why I can't do this? She ain't tell me why, so I'm gonna do it. Then I'll see why after I do it. Like,
so and so is doing it. They might let them do it.
That's like the number 2 excuse.
But that's no reason, because my friends are doing it, to be able to do it, because that time is so sacred. It's something, it's supposed to be when you're married.
Right.
But that time's supposed to be very sacred to you. That's something that you enjoy, that you having a good experience with, not something that is terrible for you. And then you try, this person wasn't to your liking, now you're going to try, and you're going to keep trying to, you try to find the right one, but never do something because your friends did it.
Right.
Never do that. Never do that.
No. Yeah.
That don't ever end up right.
So, because the reason that your friend did it ain't the reason that you doing it.
Right.
You're doing it because your friend did it.
Yeah.
And especially if you got a mom and a dad at home. Like, if you can't talk to your mom, y'all can't get along, talk to the dad.
Right.
Like, he human too.
Right. A brother, sister.
Yeah. Grandma, auntie, somebody.
Right.
Be open and honest with them. Listen more than you speak. Be patient and stay calm. Offer guidance, not control. Like she said, we don't want to say, I said no, not mean no, because I said no.
Yeah.
But then too, I'm going to check that, because a lot of times we allow a child to express themselves, and delivery is everything. And it's the way that you expressing yourself.
Right.
Like, you ain't got to be all in your feelings when you yelling at your parent, like, I want to do it because I want to do it. Because so-and-so doing it. You get more with sugar than y'all know what I was going to say. So if you come, she might give in. She might be like, well, you can go ahead and go and but you need to be back by such time. If she say that she give you a carefree, you need to respect her carefree.
Right.
Be there on time, if not before time.
Right.
And that way she'll be a little bit more lenient the next time, build up that trust. But if you just coming in all out of the night like you don't care what she say, you're going to do you anyway. Okay, you need to find another place to live.
Right.
Start paying your own bills, okay?
Exactly.
Because I don't think she going to be okay with that.
Nah, this mama.
Yeah, like this mama. Like, don't get locked at such and such time.
Yeah.
You ain't getting in. You
That's
know.
right. 'Cause we had to be in lights out
Yeah.
when them street lights, and I know we ain't in them days,
Right.
which we was. But when the lights was out, we was in the house.
Right.
You stay out, and we stayed out. Our parents didn't have to make us go outside. We was already out.
Right.
And they was like, street lights come on, you need to be in the house. We didn't want to go in the house.
Right.
Now we can't get kids to go outside.
I know, right?
They want to be in the house, on the phone, all up in your conversation.
Yeah. Just watching things they ain't got no
Yeah.
business watching on that TV.
Right. I don't want to go out there, it might get dark.
Right.
You ain't, come on now.
Yeah, I think we lightened up a lot on our children, and so we got a lot more now than what we bargained for.
Yes.
You know, and a lot of children, they just not ready for it. You know, you got to check the mental health of your children in anything that you allow them to do, because some children, they just ain't up for it. You know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that is showing.
Yeah, it is.
It is showing up.
It is. And guess what? When we don't do the main things that as parents, we're the one that's babying and having to be the babysitter. You know, the children the kids don't have a place to stay, so now you got to help them raise their children, their child rather. And if you're not careful, because you're doing all the parenting to the grandchild, now they going out and getting more right behind that. So you just got to really be careful and bring some things in line, because these kids raising kids, and they still ain't got their values up here. You know, they just kind of got caught up out there, and now they got these kids that everywhere you go, you got to take that kid, because you said, well, they don't know how to. No, you take care of your own. You know, you just can't do that. You know?
Yeah, and when you get a kid having a kid, that kid ain't even been through nothing.
Right.
So what is it gonna teach this kid?
Right.
Hey, just having babies left and right, here, there, and she still ain't taking care of. The mama got him, or the grandma got him, or the auntie got him.
Right.
You know, like, we need to do better.
We do as parents.
Right.
We need to do better, because we're the cause of a lot of it. You know, we just like, you know, like I say, not paying of any attention. We letting it go, and then we get mad at the daughter because the daughter is doing blase this, blase that, and then now it's kind of like, oh, you calling her names, but you wasn't being mommy. You should have been being mommy when you start seeing signs, but you didn't want to look at that. You had your own thing going, and then things started to happen, and things happen. You know, but when the babies start coming, it puts you have to stop and do some things, you know, put your stuff online on hold, or she gonna put her stuff on hold, or you make her take that baby everywhere she got to go. Well, my daughter had a baby in college, and I told her this, and she says, when the baby got here, she said, well, I'm gonna take a semester off. I said, no, you're not. I said, everybody's gonna pull together, and the other set of grandparents, and we all are going to pull together. And that's what we did. But she took that baby everywhere she went. Everywhere. We used to have to make her leave him when she just going out to the grocery store or wherever she went. You know, she didn't want to leave him. because she didn't want to be a burden to us.
Right.
And I appreciated that when she did it, because she took on her own responsibility.
Right.
But for as making sure that she was going back to school and finishing up what she needed, and I'm grateful for that, because she does therapy. She's a therapist, and so I am grateful that we all got in there and say, we're gonna help you, but she did her part too. She did her part,
What's up? Look,
Gotta
kudos
practice.
to all y'all.
The
Yes.
family for coming together
We did.
and
We came
her for
together.
sticking through it and seeing it all the way through.
Yeah,
Gotta practice that tough love.
you do. You do.
I guess we'll get to these dear Jens. Dear Jen, I'm having trouble with how to have that conversation. Well, let me reread that. Dear Jen, I am having trouble with how to have that conversation with my daughter who is 13 years old. She knows the basics and does and the do's and don'ts as far as touching, but nothing in detail. What's the softest method? I don't want to rely on the school system. Well, the softest method is to talk in a softer voice, but tell her what it is.
What it is, and show her a lot of love.
Get that book, open it up, and
Yeah, that's
keep it
what I was
real.
about to say. Some kind of illustration or
Yes.
something. Yeah.
At 13, she should be able to handle it.
Right. Yeah.
Because she's seeing it on that cell phone.
Right.
That's a
She's
good
seen it on those
yeah.
movies.
Definitely seeing it on social
She's
media and
seeing
stuff. So
Yes.
yeah.
Because if you rely on the school system, she ain't going to get it like it is. She ain't get nothing else like it is. You got to
Right.
teach her everything else like
I
it
don't
is.
know. They doing it. They're doing stuff a little different now, but
I just wouldn't want that to be her first time coming across that information, because kids, they react different to certain stuff, and you don't want them to feel embarrassed or a certain type of way or feel weird about asking certain questions and stuff like that, when if they already know, they've already been educated before they even get there. So
Right. And some of the schools, they are kind of trying to throw little things out there. So kudos to Legacy Early College, because I've seen some of the things that they are trying to do to help our youth.
Next. Dear Jim, help! I don't know what to do. My daughter told me she kissed a girl and I froze. We have not had that hard conversation yet. I didn't feel the need to. She's only 15, for heaven's sakes. What do I do? I'm not ready for all this. Sign help. That's a conversation in itself.
yeah. That it is.
Well, first, did you ask her why she kissed the girl? Why she felt the need to kiss the girl? What was she feeling? What was she thinking? And it could be she's just curious or
Right.
experiment.
And might not never do it again.
Yeah.
might not even have the desire to do it again.
It could have been something that she just did in spur of the moment just because. See what would happen. You know, at 15, you don't know. Just talk to her.
Yeah.
You know, don't be scared. Have the conversation.
Yeah.
She curious. And she might want to see what your reaction was going to be.
Yeah, could have been that.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah, but it is a conversation that you need to have.
No. Oh yeah.
And you just walk into it, slow, and regardless of what her answers may be, don't just start jumping down our throats. Just sit down and have a talk, and
Right.
you explain some things to her, and y'all just talk about it. And while you explaining some things to her, let her know that you care about her. What's going on with her. And you wanted her to make the best decisions, but you are there to help her make the best decisions.
Yeah, you don't want her to be sneaking around behind your back.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, trying to figure stuff out. This is life. So teach her about life. She obviously ready. You may not be, but she's ready. So I had a conversation. And I hope that's a good enough answer to help you out.
Take her out.
Go somewhere.
Yeah.
Take her out, to eat or something she like to do. Y'all sit down and talk.
You gotta ask them questions.
Yeah.
Ask her how she feeling.
Right. And you may just have to if you take out that first night, maybe not say nothing. Just being around them, listening. And then the next time, have that conversation. Just ease into it.
Right.
She might tell you some things.
Exactly. She might open up and just tell you.
At least she right there, and she told her, because I remember when my youngest child called me on the telephone and telling me about her pregnancy, and I talked with her, and then after we hung up, and after I thought about things after we hung up, and she said I called her back and laid her out. But she was, she was grown now. But she said I did, so I didn't quite handle that. I guess according to how she would have liked it, but I just wasn't ready for her to. I had plans for her, even though she was in her own place and everything. But I still had plans for her.
That wasn't a part of the plan.
That wasn't one of the plans, But all kudos to her, because she didn't have another one till 10 years later. So yeah.
Must have learned something. Well, we hope y'all enjoyed this episode. And you can follow us on all social medias at Check That Post Podcast. Like and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know every time we have a new episode. You can write it Dear Jen to checkthatpostpod@gmail.com or text 866-2251. Wait a minute. 866-311-2251. Thank you.
Right. What happened with that? Why it went off? Might have turned it out.